Singh and today I am going to talk about diffusion. The rate of diffusion increases with an increase in temperature. Let's check it out with help of an experiment. Now I am having two glasses of water. One is filled with hot water and one is filled with cold water. Now I will put a few drops of ink in both of these glasses. Now as you can see that the ink is dissolving faster in hot water than in cold water. You must be thinking that how is this happening? So this is happening because of diffusion. When you increase the temperature, the particles of any substance they get more energetic and start to move randomly. So the intermolecular spaces between them increase and at the same time the particles are more energetic. So when particles have more energy, they diffuse more. Now if I stir the glass filled with cold water, the kinetic energy of the increased and with this the rate of diffusion increased. So with this experiment I proved that the rate of diffusion is directly proportional to the molecules and the kinetic energy of the molecules is directly proportional to temperature. Therefore, when we increase the temperature, the rate of diffusion is more.
Good evening, respected principal ma'am, coordinators, teachers, parents, and all my dear friends. I am here to show you a simple experiment that shows nail polish is a petroleum based product. Petroleum. It is a naturally occurring liquid found beneath the earth's crust that can be refined into fuel. Petroleum is used as to power vehicles and heating units and can be converted into plastics. There are so many products in our day to day life like paraffin, tar, diesel, fuel, lipstick, toothpaste, shampoo, and etc. Now, let me show you that nail polish, which is generally used by ladies, is also a petroleum based product. Let's start the experiment. I have taken a cup of water, nail polish, and a matchbox. Now I will pour some nail polish in a cup of water. Then I will burn a matchstick and take close to it. Then let's see what happens. Now I am pouring some nail polish in a cup of water. You can see that the area in which I have poured the nail polish is burning because nail polish contains a petroleum base and nail polish is less denser than water. Thank you.
That we live in an atmosphere which consists of several gases. But do you know that the carbon dioxide we exhale during respiration is denser than the surrounding air? Today, I, Smith Digay from class 8A, would like to prove that carbon dioxide is denser than the surrounding air. For this experiment, we need two balloons, one filled with the surrounding air and the other one with the carbon dioxide. First, I will fill this balloon with the surrounding air. I have already filled this one with the surrounding air. But how will I fill the other one with carbon dioxide? Oh yes, I have a small experiment for this. For this small experiment, the materials required are an empty bottle, some balloons, baking soda and some vinegar. First, I will pour this baking soda into the balloon and the vinegar into the bottle. I have already prepared this, where I have poured the baking soda into the balloon and the vinegar into the bottle. And I have also attached the mouth of the balloon to the mouth of the bottle, as you can see here. Now, I will pour this baking soda into the vinegar and let's see what happens. As you can see, the balloon has inflated. Let's take a look on the reaction which has taken place over here. Vinegar is a dilute solution of acetic acid, whereas Baking soda is alkaline in nature. Mixing of both these chemicals is an example of acid-base neutralization reaction. Usually, a neutralization reaction produces salt and water. But in this reaction, there is another byproduct which is a gas. When we add baking soda, which is sodium bicarbonate, in the vinegar, which is acetic acid, the hydrogen ions in the vinegar react with the sodium and bicarbonate ions in the baking soda, resulting in sodium acetate and carbonic acid. This carbonic acid is unstable and decomposes into CO2 and H2O. This can be shown by the following equation. Sodium bicarbonate when added to vinegar, which is acetic acid, we get sodium acetate, carbon dioxide, which is collected in this balloon, and water in the form of vapor, which is collected in this bottle. Now let's draw both the balloons from the same height at the same time and let's see what happens. As you can clearly see, the balloon filled with the carbon dioxide has fallen first. Hence proof that carbon dioxide is denser than the surrounding air. Thank you.
That was indeed a unique presentation. I am sure. A very warm welcome to another present here. I am Keisha from class 8. Have you ever imagined that what was the date when you were born? So here is an amazing trick with which you can find out the day of any date, not on your birth century, but of any century. It's a very simple and easy trick. So here we start. I have made a model to represent the same. So here it is, as you can see. So let's begin with the trick. So there are four boxes. Here we will insert any date of which we want to find the day of. So here I am taking any random date. So let's take 12th November 2008. Here I have written the date, month, century and year. As you can see, the day for this date is Monday. You must be thinking that how I got answers so instantly. So let's see how I got the answer. So as you can see, I have made some century code, month code and day code. You can take the screenshot of this if you want to. And here I have made 5 lines. So the total of this all will get the date. So in the first line, I will insert the date, that is 12 as it is. In the second line, next comes month. So the month is 11, that means November. So in month code, 4 stands for November. So here I will insert 4. Then comes century. So it is 2018. So in the century code, 2018 lies between the year 2000 and 2099. So the code for this is 6. So here I will write 6. Then the year will remain as it is. So 18. The first and last digit will remain as it is. So now we will divide 18 by 4 to get the idea of each year. So 18 divided by 4. So 4 into 4 is 16. So here I will write 4. Now we will add all of them. So 12 plus 4 plus 6 plus 18 plus 4. We will get 44. Now we will divide 44 by 7 because a week contains 7 days. So 7 6 are 42 and we got the remainder as 2. And note one thing, that we will get the remainder between 0 to 6, not more than 6. here we got the remainder as 2. So the day for 2 is Monday. So our day for this week is Monday. It's a very simple trick and you can find the day of any date. Thank you.
So, do you have ever wondered that how can you communicate with people or listen to music? Hello, I am Nilanjana Ghosh of 8th. So, today we will learn about sound. Sound plays an important part in our daily life, which helps us to communicate with each other. We hear a wide variety of sounds in our surrounding. So, do you know what sound is produced by? So, sound is produced by vibrating body. Example, if we strike a school bell, it will vibrate and produces a sound. So do you know what sound waves depend on? Yeah, a sound wave is depending upon the amplitude and frequency of sound wave. Two sounds can be distinguished from one another by 3 different characteristics. Number 1, loudness. Example. Number 2, pitch or shrillness. Example. Number 3, quality. Example, you all have heard songs of Lata Mangeshkar. So, her sweet voice is an example of quality. So, do you have ever wondered at what loudness depends on? If you have questioned this to yourself, that's a great question. Your answer is the loudness depends on the amplitude and frequency of the vibrating body producing sound. Greater the amplitude of vibration, louder is the sound produced. There are factors affecting the loudness of sound. First, when the body vibrates with greater amount of energy, it produces forth a greater amount of energy. I know that you all have the question that what is amplitude? So, amplitude is a maximum extent of vibration measured from the position of equilibrium. Now you will be having another question that first was amplitude and now equilibrium. What is this? To solve your problem, equilibrium is a state in which opposing forces or influences are balanced. So come on, let's get back into the sound. So second, on the distance of the source of sound. Third, a large vibrating body sends forth a greater amount of energy. So the amplitude of vibration is larger. Example, if you take a small plate and strike it with a spoon, it will produce a loud sound like this. But if you take a large plate and strike it with a spoon, it will produce a louder sound like this. Hence, larger the surface area, louder is the sound. Fourth, the loudness depends on the sensitivity of ears of the listener, and that's all about the sound. Thank you.
Hello everyone, myself Ankita Srivastav from 8th standard. Today I will explain you about electric fuse and circuit. Let's see about electric circuit first. There are two types of connection, parallel and series connection. So let's first see series connection. So here we can see these 3 bulbs are glowing with same intensity. Now I will remove one bulb. As I removed one bulb, the circuit became incomplete and these 2 bulbs also stopped glowing. This is known as series connection. So here we have parallel connection. We can see that these 2 bulbs are glowing. As now I will remove one bulb, the other one is not affected like in the series. So that is why it is called parallel connection. Now let's see about electric fuse. First, what is electric fuse? Electric fuse is a device which is used in an electric circuit to limit the flow of current. Fuse is important in an electric circuit as it protects appliances from short circuit and overload of current. So here we can see an electric fuse. It is used in household to protect household appliances from short circuits. And it is a fuse wire. A fuse wire is short and thin piece of wire made with an alloy of lead and tin, having 50% of each metal, and it has low melting point. When there is a voltage fluctuation or high current flow through the wires can lead to burning of wires. So to prevent this damage, fuse wire is connected with the live wire. So whenever there is a short circuit, the fuse wire get heated up to the extent that it melts and result in a gap produced in the live wire, and the circuit becomes incomplete or breaks. No current then flow and the appliances or the circuit is safe. Thank you.
Good afternoon everyone. I am Bhumi Gupta from class 8B. As you all know, the things present in our surrounding, we can see it because of light. But how? When there is no light in the room, the things can be seen properly or clearly. But when we on the light, we are able to see the things properly and clearly. This is because of light. When light falls on an object, some part of light is reflected back to our eyes and we are able to see the object. As you all know, glass has many properties. First is refraction of light. But today I am going to tell you about the second property of glass, which is refraction of light. Here I have placed a glass block. When I object the light, you can see the light is bending over here. See. This is because of refraction of light. To make you more clear, I have made a diagram to explain you more clearly. Refraction of light through a glass block. PQRS is a glass block as shown here. AB is the ray on the surface PQ. NBM is normal at the point of incidence, which is B. When AB enters the glass block from A to glass, it bends towards normal as shown here. There is another reflection shown on the surface RS. BC is the ray on the surface RS. N1C M1 is normal at the point of incidence, which is C. When BC ray exits the glass block from glass to air, it bends away from normal over here. See. This is because of refraction of light. To make you more clear, I have made a diagram to explain you more clearly. Refraction of light through a glass block. PQRS is a glass block as shown here. AB is the ray on the surface PQ. NBM is normal at the point of incidence, which is B. When AB enters the glass block from A to glass, it bends towards normal as shown here. There is another reflection shown on the surface RS. BC is the ray on the surface RS. N1C M1 is normal at the point of incidence, which is C. When BC ray exits the glass block from glass to air, it bends away from normal as shown here. AB is the incident ray, BC is the refracted ray, and CD is the emergent ray. AB and CD are parallel to each other, but they are laterally displaced by the ray CE as shown here. Parallel displacement is the distance between incident ray and the emergent ray. They are perpendicular to each other. Now, you can observe refraction of light in your day-to-day life. Let's see how. I have taken a glass of water here. This pencil is straight and shown here. But when I put it in the glass, you can see it's tilted from here. Again I take it out. It's straight. Why this happens? This happens because of refraction of light. Thank you.
Good afternoon everyone, I am Prishaba Jadhav from 8th B and today I am going to share some information on an ecological pyramid. You all must be thinking, what is an ecological pyramid? An ecological pyramid is a graphical representation showing the relationship between different organisms in different ecosystems. It has been observed that it is in the shape of an actual pyramid, with the broadest bottom and the toppest level occupied by the lowest trophic level. The bottom is occupied by producers. They are the all kind of plants which make their own food by the process of photosynthesis. Then comes primary consumers. Primary consumers are the herbivores which eat only producers, and they are examples are rabbits, butterfly, etc. Next level is occupied by secondary consumers, which are called omnivores, eating both plants and animals, and their examples are human beings, fox, snakes, etc. Next level, last level is occupied by tertiary consumers, which means eating only animals, and the example are lion, vulture, etc. So now I would like to share some importance of an ecological pyramid. An ecological pyramid not only shows us the feeding pattern of organisms in different ecosystems, but can also give us an insight into how inefficient energy transfer is. And if a change in number is in one trophic level, it can affect on the above and below trophic levels also. And whenever the data collected over the year affects one trophic level, it can affect on the above and below trophic levels also. And whenever the data collected over the year affects on environment and organisms can be studied by comparing the data. And if the ecosystem's conditions are being found to be worsening over the years, actions can be taken to prevent it. Thank you.